We have Bitcoin sitting just under $60,000, which is arguably at one of the most important levels during one of the most important economic weeks that we have ahead of us. It is PPI inflation data coming out today and then CPI coming out tomorrow. But we have some data which suggests we already know what the Fed is going to be doing next. So in today's show, we'll discuss all of that. We'll have a look at some of the timing cycles. We'll look at some of the top altcoin picks, as well as a whole lot more. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And let's get straight into the show content for the day. Banter bubbles over here, you can see daily looking much better than yesterday. Hourly, half and half, some of the coins up, some down. Weekly still holding up over there, but monthly has a whole lot of work to do over here with just a couple of coins that are up, right? 𝗬𝗎, 𝗕𝗢𝗣𝗢𝗢, HNT, and then you have a couple of other random coins over here, BSV, WBT, XRP. But for the most part, the big talk of the town has definitely been 𝗬𝗎 and HNT for this week, putting in some major moves out of the top 100 coins over there. So we'll have a look at those as well. We'll look at some of your top altcoin picks for the day, and then make sure you drop any altcoin requests that you may have in today's show. There's actually a poll that you can vote in. I'd love to know your thoughts out of the coins. If you could choose one of four, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, or Casper, which would you hold for the next 12 months? And if it's none of those, let me know in the comments what it is, and we'll make sure to chart those before the end of the show. Now, I found some very, very interesting data over here, which is on the Gaussian channel. What is the Gaussian channel? Very simply put, it's a trend trading tool. We put on a weekly time frame over here using the Bitcoin Liquid Index, which has got the most price history across all of the various different crypto pairs. And what we saw is pretty much a backtest into the prior top side of the Gaussian channel, bouncing price off of that level, missed it by a tiny tick, right? Close enough over here. 48K would have been the top side. Price came down to 49,500. I consider that close enough. But what's interesting is when you zoom out and you have a look at the previous history of how this Gaussian channel has anticipated some of the price moves, and especially from a timing perspective. And I was having a look at this morning, and I found some really interesting data which looks like this. So what I did is I had a look at how long from at least following the first halving cycle, which occurred in 2012, when it flipped green, how long did it stay green for? And how long was it from the point that it flipped green to the local top, right? Because if you look over here and you measure from the point that it turned green to the point that it turned red, at that point, you're already well on your way into your bear market, and you'd actually almost completed the worst part of the cycle. So the more interesting part was definitely looking at the start to the top side over here. And what I found was this, right? If you have a look at, let's go from green to red, right? So from the point that the Gaussian channel turns green to the point that it turns red, we have 121 weeks. If you look at the next cycle over here, 144 weeks, right? If you look at the next cycle over here, 148 weeks. So pretty interesting, right? That tells us already where we can see where we'll be well on our way into the next bear market if we measure out that 148 weeks. So a lot of similarities. I'll read them again. 121, 144, 148, and this one I measured out 148. That would put you in June 2026. You're well on your way into the bear market. But what about timing the cycle top? And then we'll see how in the previous timing models that I've created by looking at the halving cycles as well as various other factors. Well, if we go back over here, this is what we can see, right? Go back over here. We can see over here from the moment that it turned green in 2012 to the cycle top over here was 66 bars. This was a shorter one, right? 66 weeks. From green to top, 98 weeks. From green to top, 120 weeks. What happens if we look somewhere between that 100 and 120 week region? Where would that take us timing wise? And then we can line that up with the other models that I've created, and we can see where that lines up. So anywhere between 100 and 121 weeks from the point that the Gaussian channel turned green, 100 weeks would put you in June 2025. 120 weeks on the further end over here would put you at some point in, there you go, November 2025. So some point between the second, third, or fourth quarter of next year is where you're anticipating that you're going to see your cycle top. And usually following the first test into the Gaussian channel over there is usually where you start to get those really parabolic moves. It's something that we discussed yesterday. So keeping that in mind, between June and November of 2025, right? Now, what you can do is you can also have a look over here at the previous halving cycles. I have a really nice visual that showcases it. You can see over here 2012 halving cycle, Bitcoin went in 1 year from $182 to $510. In 2016, it went from $661 exactly 12 months later to $2,600. In 2020, it went from $8,600 to 12 months later being $58,000. 2024 halving cycle was the first cycle ever that we broke the all-time highs, and we went from 63,870. And the question is, where will we be 1 year later? Well, what's interesting is also, if you have a look at this visual over here, you can see each of the halving cycles play out, right? So that's the halving cycle pushing up into peak all-time highs. Then it leads into the bear market, and then the next halving cycle hits off, leads to a parabolic move. You move down into that bear market, and then the next cycle begins, right? 2020, quantitative easing on steroids will lead to a pretty parabolic move, and then you lead into the bear market, and now the next halving cycle begins. Now, if you measure out timing-wise from that halving cycle, again, I'll just remind you, we've looked at timing-wise where they would line up. You saw this previous chart. We said some point between June and November. And if you go into this chart over here, well, timing, it's lined up to be pretty similar, right? In the sense that we've looked from halving to all-time high was 52 bars. From halving at the yellow line to all-time high, 69 bars. This is on a weekly scale. Halving to all-time high, 74 bars. So if we go somewhere within that vicinity of 52 to 74 bars, you can see over here the white lines marked off with a time scale on the bottom says somewhere between April to September of 2025. All of it lines up. Therefore, continue to buy the dip, hold strong, don't get shaken out of your positions, and pretty much sit tight and enjoy the ride. You're right here at the perfect point in the cycle. And despite the recessionary fears of the market will likely continue to grind onwards and upwards. And our position is to manage our risk in accordance with how risky it is to be in the market at one particular point in time, and then to know when to hold those positions for the longer term. That is our position, right? Now, if you go back to those previous halving cycles and you go look at 2016, this is this halving cycle over here. It actually looks most similar to what we're currently seeing from a fractal perspective. This one over here, we pushed to all-time highs, and ultimately what happened following that was price dropped 29.58%, right? Following the halving cycle, we crashed down. You can see into August 2016. Now, we also in August 2016, or not 2016, August 2024, following this halving cycle over here, you can see, of course, what did price do? Well, price pushed up, and then following that peak over there, it dropped as well. If you look at that, 33%. So to give you the other visual perspective of that fractal, this is what it would look like over here. You can see the AB that occurred in 2016. You can see the AB that occurred over here in 2024. And now the expectation is that you might continue to chop around a little bit longer, and then you're leading into expansion higher, and that's where those real parabolic moves take place. So please don't get shaken out, right? A whole lot of important data to look at. If this adds any value whatsoever to your life, please like this video, share it with a friend, and let me know in the comments what you want to see more of so I can develop that into the future shows. What we're noticing over here is also smart money continues to bid the market. When you see the long-term holders represented by the yellow, increasing in magnitude more so than the short-term holders, like you saw over here, that's what leads to those parabolic advancements. And that's currently what the on-chain metrics are telling us right now. We also had a look on Saturday's show. We went, was it on Saturday? I think it might have been on Monday. Actually, it was on Saturday. We went in depth into the on-chain metrics, and what we saw is that the short-term holders are the only ones that are suffering at the moment. People that entered into the market near the local highs, those retail that are coming in with the froth. Right now, the market's mostly being driven by smart money, people like you and me that are always here, right? We stick it through the tough times as well, and that's why we make so much money near the cycle peaks, whereas the rest of the people, they're not here, right? They only tend to come near the top, so it's really driven by institutions. And we can actually see that the open interest on the crypto futures has increased substantially, right, compared to 2021 where we set those peaks, but recently it's come down quite a lot. The point being over here is people that are trading on perpetuals and futures contracts are mostly the smarter money people, and consequently this is additional evidence to showcase that it's only really the smarter people that are here, right? This is why the open interest is much higher. The true retail degens have not yet arrived, and we can actually see that by looking at the number of tweets as well, right? Content creators on Twitter or YouTube, for example, will start producing a whole lot more information, increasing the number of tweets that they put out when retail come back. And you can see in relation to what we saw in the peaks of the previous cycle, this colored histogram is obviously just moving towards the downside with this chart over here. It hasn't reached those higher levels quite yet, right? So that's something that we're looking at over there in terms of the risk metrics. If you do want to learn more about all of this information, and if you want to beat 99% of all the retail traders, I really recommend two things. Number one, stick it out, join the show each and every single day, continue to learn. Don't only watch my show, feel free to learn from other credible people. And then also join Whale School, right? You have 8 days left to go. We only have about 4% of the available spots that are still open. So use the link in the description below. Don't Google it, just use that exact link. Otherwise, you might get taken to a scam site. It is listed over here, Whale School. This is all my technical analysis knowledge, market knowledge, all put into one easy to use course. And the best part about it is it's completely free, right? You don't have to pay 1 cent. I could have charged between $3,000 and $5,000 for this course, but it's given to you completely for free. Use the link below, sign up, and we begin just over a week from now. So high impact economic data coming out today. Of course, over here you can see the forecast over here for the PPI is coming in at 0.2%, and then tomorrow the big one is the CPI at 3%. So this will of course affect what the Fed does, but we already have some data which we briefly covered, and I think I've just lost it. I did just lose it. I don't know where that's gone. Let's see. Gone. Okay, it's gone. Anyways, guys, take my word for it. I covered it yesterday. The data suggests it's from a report that came out from Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve. And simply put, what it states over there is that they will be cutting interest rates, right? They will. It's not a matter of if they are or not. They will be cutting interest rates at this next meeting. The question is by how much? Is it going to be 25 or 50 basis points? Currently, it's a 50-50% scenario, right? 50-50 odds of whether it's going to be 25 or 50 basis points rate cut. But the rate cuts are most likely coming. Something drastic would have to happen with the CPI inflation data tomorrow to negate this and to shift these probabilities over here on the Fed watch tool. So keep an eye out on that. That currently looks to be the case. And then I say the most important thing that you want to be looking at, irrespective of what the Fed is doing with interest rates, etc., irrespective of whether it's a global recession, is you want to look at the M2 money supply. And if the M2 money supply is slowly but surely ticking on towards the upside, which is what it's doing right over here, then you want to be long and strong and continue to hold those positions. You can see, of course, through quantitative tightening coming off of the massive amount of money that they printed out of the 2020 crash, you can see that a lot of it has been wiped out, but this is causing something in the markets to break, which is what you're seeing right now, right? You are seeing a break in certain markets, and slowly but surely, as the cracks and crevices begin to show, the Fed will most likely do something, and they've already started to give, forms of quantitative easing in the form of buying back government bonds. They've already stipulated that they're doing that, and then the most important thing is the data of what does that M2 money supply look like in the short term, which way is it angled, and I'm sure you can all see the red line aggressively moving towards the upside, right? Very, very strong towards the upside, and you expect that price will follow. Not only that, but also smart money over here continues to buy up with the Bitcoin ETFs, the assets under management. You can just see they're absolutely gobbling everything up over here. And I actually saw this tweet over here, which was absolutely incredible. And what it looks at is the list of the top 11 Bitcoin holders in the world. And scary enough, over here, for the first time ever, you have a new buyer coming out of nowhere. Of course, it's being BlackRock, right? Hasn't even been around for a year with the ETFs. And you can see they're on track to surpass Satoshi Nakamoto's wallets. Of course, that's the pseudonymous name given to the founder of Bitcoin, and those coins have never moved. 1.1 million coins. At this rate, BlackRock in 1 year will take out that $1.1 million level, and if they continue to buy at this pace and rate, overtaking Binance probably just in the next couple of months with 550,133 Bitcoin on Binance. And then the next one to take out is going to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Here come these exchanges holding, or at least these institutions holding more than MicroStrategy, holding more than the US government, as well as the Chinese government. So big numbers over there. So really stack Bitcoin while you still can. And you're also seeing a correlation over here between gold and how Bitcoin tends to lag gold, right? Gold price lagged by 3 months, and then it started to pop towards the top side over here. Bitcoin still remaining low. So there's the gold chart. This is on a low time frame, on a daily. Remember, most people are trading gold on super high time frames. You can even look at this on a 3-month chart to kind of get a perspective of how bullish it is, right? Look at that. Look at that gold chart over there. But if you move on to the daily time frame, if you're looking to actually long this and gain an entry, well, this is kind of at the breakout level at all-time highs. If you're lucky enough to get a move that comes back down here like this, that's a new opportunity to build a long. That's going to be at about 2,396 for gold. So if you are looking for an additional trade, down another 2.75% creates the opportunity to go long. And we're already long on the S&P 500 over here. We did, of course, take that over here on Prime XBT. So there it is, MACD, only just starting to cross towards the upside. If you zoom in over there, you can see the very start of your little green histogram increasing towards the upside over there. And we are long over here on Prime XBT. If you do want to join in on that, there's a link below. Click that over here. It will take you through to Prime XBT. When you click that, you'll have the choice of claiming up to a 20% sign-up bonus, which is limited to $7,000, or you can choose the 25% discount on all future trading commissions, which is pretty remarkable savings. And you can trade crypto, stocks, commodities, gold, forex pairs, the whole bank shoot. They got everything over there on Prime. So we'll continue to hold that. There's the chart. This is the S&P 500 pushing towards the upside, looking at this as a major local low. And same thing, Coinbase as well, deviating back into the range, looks good to potentially continue. Another thing that I actually want to have a look at over here before we move on too far is going to be some of the stocks, right? Let's have a look at some of the stocks. I've been starting to look into Tesla quite a lot lately, and it just looks like they primed for major success, right? So I'll keep you guys updated. Right now, it's definitely range bound with a slight bias into a downtrend over here. Lower lows, swing low over there, lower highs, swing low, and again, attempted to shift momentum over here. But let's keep an eye out on this. If Tesla comes down into the lower range over here, around 80, 90, I think that's going to be an absolutely enormous opportunity for any of you out there that might have a brokerage account. That could be one that you could start to add, right? The other thing is, let's have a look at MicroStrategy, quickly see how that one's doing. Okay, for any of you out there who may be trading MicroStrategy, similar to Bitcoin, obviously just trading at a higher beta. So if Bitcoin's going to go up for the next 12 months, MicroStrategy probably continues to outperform. But when a bear market comes, MicroStrategy is probably going to underperform significantly, right? It's going to do super bad. Let's quickly see NVIDIA. How's NVIDIA doing? I haven't looked at this forever. Wow, look at that. Okay, this is Nikkei, not NVIDIA. I thought it was NVIDIA. But anyway, quickly touching on Nikkei, came back to key support over here, still putting in that V-shaped recovery. And here is NVIDIA. Let's have a look at NVIDIA. Haven't looked at it for a while. We said the yellow line was the level to hold. So far, it is holding up. Expect maybe a little bit of a range-bound environment similar to Tesla, right? Between 90 and 136 on NVIDIA. Do you have a trend line in play over here? Not really. Okay, so that is NVIDIA. Again, you can trade a lot of these things on Prime XBT. You can see over here DXY, still waiting for the breakdown. It will take a couple more days. If Bitcoin can hold up for about another 7 days, sideways is going to be the best case scenario for the bulls right now. And that will give time for the DXY to potentially roll over once again, breaking down lower. So far, we are gaining acceptance. This has been the long-term plan, right? We've been looking to gain acceptance below the gray box area, specifically below 103. Right now, we're at 103.2. 𝗓𝗓𝗓. Remember, when this chart goes down, it makes it much easier for crypto and risk on assets to move towards the upside. So just give it a little bit more time, right? It takes time after you get these big fluctuations within price on both Bitcoin and the stock market for things to settle, become a little bit more range bound, and then eventually break out. The levels to clear are still unchanged, right? First, let's get above 61,342. That claims you back above specifically the 21 exponential moving average. And thereafter, you can break these resistance levels at 63,173. As an easy rule of thumb, just mark out last week's high level. If you can start to close any high time frame candles above last week's candle high, the wick high, that will bode very, very well, of course, for the bulls, right? That means the bulls start to gain back some control and prices can head higher. You do have the upside liquidity over here, but the order books look pretty thin at the moment. Crypto Twitter feels pretty dead. So I think a lot of people have left, they're bored, but you're sitting with 1.48 billion worth of liquidity in the form of short stop losses. So the people that are shorting the market have their stops placed over there. That becomes liquidity. When there isn't a trending move, market makers tend to target, not always, but oftentimes they tend to target that liquidity over there. We can actually have a look over here. Just quickly going into the Discord group over here and see what we have. So very, very flat again over here. Solana negative on the delta. You got Bonk also negative on the delta. WIF negative on the delta. Pepe negative on the delta. Bitcoin and ETH are slightly positive, but nothing really to write home about. So I drop this daily in the whale room for any of you that want extra info from High Block Capital. That's obviously, they've got the most aggregated specific data when it comes to finding these liquidation levels. I do drop it in there. Fear and greed at 31. This is really good for the market, right? That it's not bouncing back too quickly to the greed side. The longer that we can remain over here, in my personal opinion, the better, especially if we are within one of these fractals, right? Especially if we're in a fractal like this. If you are sitting in a fearful zone major expansion, that's actually something super, super healthy. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And this is still overlaying the possibility for the descending broadening wedge. Price moves towards the upside, moves into this channel. It's one of the hardest things to trade over here because it goes against all of my systems in the sense that you do theoretically have a downtrend in the short term with lower lows and lower highs. But based on where we are cyclically, based on the reset on the bottom over here of the fear and greed, I'm giving bulls just the slight benefit of the doubt. When I say cautiously bullish, I mean that with extreme cautiously bullish scenario over here, looking for bulls to take back some control over there, because at the end of the day, it is lower lows, lower highs, and we're below all the important moving averages. But luckily enough, they still angle towards the upside with the 200 EMA and exponential moving towards the upside. And this one lining up right here at the mid-range at 59,500. So those are the first levels to get above. Start to confirm the high low over here, breaking above last week's high. That will do it. Get above this last candle that occurred on Thursday. And that will start to really, really look good, right? For continuation towards the top side. So that's what we're waiting for. We hit the fair value gap. I told you this isn't going to be a high impact fair value gap as you come into this level. It is a fair value gap, which signals inefficiency. And oftentimes traders will look for longs or shorts into those fair value gaps, depending on whether the fair value gap is above or below price. In this instance, it was below price. So you're looking for longs, but it's not a high impact, strong one because again, you can see the way prices come into this, but nevertheless, it is eliciting the reaction that we thought it would. So it's a low probability long scenario over here where you're looking for price to break above all this resistance. And this is what I discussed with Whale Room on the live Zoom session yesterday. What I said to summarize it is that it's almost a no trade zone, right? You can take a small long over here, but there's no high probability longs, high confident longs, because you have a massive amount of resistance overhead over there, firstly. And if you do reject from this, well, it's a long way down to the next major support, which is going to be at 51 $1,000, which is coming all the way down into this wick over here, right? And I can probably better show that to you on this chart over here. So if you do reject and you fail this level, then you are looking for something like this, right? You're below, again, also these 50 and 200 EMAs, angle towards the downside, then you're looking maybe for one more move down. So the no trade zone becomes a trade zone when either you get into this zone over here at 52, or when you break above this zone over here, flipping the mid-range into support. Right now, you're in the middle. There's not much you can do. Just chill. Okay. Cool. We've done that. Quick reminder for any of you that want to take trades on BitGet, they're currently offering a sign-up bonus. You can earn up to $50,000 from their USDT airdrop that they have on BitGet. There's 18 days left to go. All the details are in the description below. This is where I've taken the majority of my meme coin trades. They've listed a lot of those things like Giga, and you got the Harry Potter one. There's a whole bunch. We'll go through some of those in a moment towards the end of the show. Now, are altcoins ever going to make it? That's a question I know many of you are asking. What I've said is altcoins tend to completely outperform. Full-blown alt season usually occurs in the final 6 months of the bull run. Now, what we've seen over here is if we look at, I believe it's the Mayr multiple. Let's just quickly double check. Yes, the Mayr multiple. You can see over here from 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗥, the 0.75 line, right, which is this one over here, which is increasing towards the upside on the Mayr multiple, mark the exact altcoin bottom. This is as per the total crypto market cap, excluding the top 10 dominance coins, right? So it's the true altcoin sector had found a bottom on the 0.5 line in 2020 as well as in 2023, and we once again just hit that level right now. So I think something to keep an eye out for. We'll have a look at total 3 on my chart as well to see where we're at, which is over here, right? We came very, very close to hitting major support over here, breaking back into the mid-range, which is denoted by this white line coming in at 556 billion. And so far, it is looking like a major reversal candle. So could it be that the Mayr multiple is correct, coming into the 0.5 level, hitting that zone over there, and we're going to see slow grind and continuation up? It is possible. If you are somebody conservative and you want to play it safe, wait to break above these candles over here that led to the breakdown. That's your little order block. Big move up, throw back into this region over here, create the higher low, break back into the premium zone, which is our yellow zone over here, and grinding into that resistance level likely leads to the next breakout. And timing wise, you can see if it follows my little random lark line trajectory that I've drawn over here, that may only come where? Well, sometime towards the end of the year, December, January, sometime around then. And what happens when we go back and we look at some of these previous charts that I covered? Well, what did I signify? I said that if you do look towards where the potential top could be, well, that could be anywhere, depending on whether you're using the Gaussian channel, between June, we said June to November, right? So if you followed that trajectory, June to November, and this started to run, and I said altcoins outperform for about 6 months, and it runs from January to June, well, that's 6 months, right? So that is something to consider. I feel most of the market have now capitulated on altcoins. Thankfully, we've done super well as per the poll that we have in the YouTube description right now. Bitcoin, Solana, Casper, Ethereum, those have been the best performers, right? I know ETH maybe in recent times hasn't been that great, but in terms of from the beginning of the cycle when we initially got into our ETH positions, sub $1,000, it's been a very, very, very good play. So let me know in the comments. I'm going to check. I see some of you say also SUI is good. We do have a SUI position, right? That is one of the positions that we have open, at least in Wellroom on spot. We covered that yesterday as well. But longer term, we've covered the main ones, right? You guys know which the main ones are, and then we're going to have a look at some of the memes as well. Bitcoin dominance, very, very close to reaching a top over here. You can see what it's got, maybe another between 3 and at a maximum about, I could go on an extreme level, 10% towards the upside. And then we expect that dominance has had its run on Bitcoin, and then alt should actually start to outperform. So here's your ETH USD chart, heading the bottom of the base over here. You can see holding this trend line all the way from the bottom over here, breaking out of the ascending triangle, meeting the measured move, throw back into that level as support over there, and so far it's holding. Now, pretty big move. It is going to take time to reshift the momentum towards the upside, and timing wise, again, lining it up, you could expect that sometime during next year, early next year, these things will be well on their way to moving towards the upside, and then maybe, just maybe, you will shift this chart over here as Bitcoin dominance does top out. This is the ETH BTC chart, which has come all the way back down into the fair value gap over here, hitting that level and pushing up. We have to see a lot of momentum to reverse this trend. It's just been down only if you've been holding ETH. Now, also Solana against ETH, we've been looking at that. You came down into the golden pocket over here. If you take your fib tool from the bottom to the top of this move, so from the high low to the local high, you get into the 0.65 to 618 level, and prices hit that, starting to bounce over here. You definitely need to see signs of strength and reclaim the white line over here ASAP. That is if Solana is going to continue to outperform. Always ask yourself these things. Did you gain a level or lose a level? That's the question. And are you ranging or are you trending, right? That is the interesting part. Are you ranging or trending? Because, of course, this has been ranging over here, but this may just be the start of a trend. If you confirm the high low over here and you break out, then this may actually get trending. And then Solana is going to significantly outperform ETH, right? So something to keep an eye out for over here. Real trouble steps in now when you start to take out this low, especially if you gain acceptance below the horizontal white line that I have over here, which if price doesn't bounce in the next day or two, will look like you've gained acceptance below. That means I'll target this level, probably breaks that level and comes all the way back down over here. And then that's your next best bet for switching ETH into Solana, right? Into selling your ETH and buying SOL down here at this level. So we'll watch this. We'll keep an eye out on this. I hold big positions in both. Solana, undoubtedly my biggest position by far. Okay, so we're watching that over there. Casper hash rate, network hash rate continues to climb, right? Remember, price and hash rate tend to move together. So as this increases towards the upside, you expect Solana is probably also going to break to new all-time highs. Constant all-time highs on the hash rate for Casper. Super, super bullish. I'm very, very proud to be one of the few YouTubers that actually called this coin and gave this to you guys from a very early stage. And we continue to hold the bullish case on this with a strong buy that came in on this wick low between 12 and 13 cents. If you're lucky enough to get another opportunity into this trend line or mid-range over here, I would say take it with both hands and look to establish more. I have a sizable position over here, but I wouldn't mind getting this as big as Solana. If this continues to outpace and perform, it probably will get as big as my Solana position. So part of succeeding in trading is going to be cutting your losers very, very, very quickly and allocating hard into your winners and letting those winners run, right? Be concentrated and aggressive into the winners and keep those going. And again, if you want to learn more about that, I cover this quite extensively in Whale School. If you're someone, by the way, that did Whale School a year ago or when it first started, I think we're almost at about a year anniversary of Whale School. We put through almost, I think, 60,000 people through Whale School. Please come back, do it again. Why do I say that? Because I've learned more and more and more over those 12 months. And in the workshops that we do, the live workshops, I actually teach you more and go in detail into each of those lessons. So that is over there. Which sector is not doing too well? Well, if you spray and pray from a broader perspective, then the meme coins have been getting absolutely smashed, right? This is just an example because it's become so easy for anyone to launch a meme coin that the success rate is very low, right? 157,282 new coins have launched on pump.fun during when? Not the last month, not the last 5 months, not the last year, literally during the Elon Trump interview spaces that occurred last night. Just please put that into perspective. Ask Grok. Should we ask Grok if this is normal? 157,282 new coins launched in that interview alone, right? Only 3 of them successfully graduated, beating the bond curve, launching, and 0 out of the 3 are above graduation price, right? So he says over here, meme coins are finished. No new exit liquidity is coming, and it's over. Do I believe that's the case? I don't believe that's the case, but I think that if you're not very careful, concentrated, and you don't have your finger on the pulse when it comes to meme coins, you are going to get absolutely rinsed. So you need to allocate very, very carefully, and you need to allocate into coins that have a good chance of reaching escape velocity. Or so if you go into coins that haven't reached escape velocity, go in with much less size, go in much smaller, or go in heavier into coins that have already reached escape velocity with big holders. So we can have a look at some of those coins. I'll move this up over here and we'll start to look at some of the meme coins in just a moment. But, you know, some of the coins that I believe in, one is Resistance Cat. This is one that has not reached escape velocity, but I believe has the potential to. And the reason why I say that is it's literally only at a $3.38 million market cap with 6,300 holders. That is quite a lot of holders for the current market cap, right? And not only that, but it's also come out of a, here you have a falling wedge formation, broke back into the range, and obviously price is starting to push towards the upside. So that's something that I'm looking at over there. Let's just quickly zoom in. And this is a leveraged bet on TON, which is Telegram. That's my other reasoning. So, and the other reasoning is that I believe that towards the end of the cycle, there is a good chance that you start to see the narrative shift from dogs to cats, right? We've had dogs as meme coins for multiple cycles in a row. And I think they've mostly run their course. And I think that people are going to be searching for a new narrative. And it looks to be that cats is a sensible alternative, right? You can see the meme culture already around cats running on crypto Twitter as well as the internet in general. There is a lot of information over there. So a lot of free marketing over there as well. So that's that one. That's Resistance Cat. I do, of course, also have Resistance Dog as a position, and my positions are pretty much equal in size, right? There's Resistance Dog. There you go. Same pattern. Falling wedge formation, starts to break out, reclaims the underside resistance, and back tests into support, creating a higher low. And now we're looking for expansion. Now, to put it into perspective, you can work out the ratio between Resistance Cat and Resistance Dog, market cap divided by holders. This one at $46.6 million market cap with 24,000 holders. It looks good for continuation, right? So I'm holding my positions. I have them over here on the 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗥 wallet. There it is. Those are my two positions. I'm holding, give or take, it depends on the day, $10,000 into each of those. And those are my only two picks that I have on TON for Telegram. Okay. So keep an eye out on those. If you do want to participate, you're going to have to download a 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗥 wallet. The full explanation of how to do that is, of course, in Wellroom. We drop this well in advance. If you go through, of course, into the DGen call section, I actually warned them over a month ago over here to start prepping it. Here it is. And that was the reason why, right? Get your 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗥 wallets because we're going to be buying these coins. So we started to get in at much lower market cap. Let's continue. What other ones we have? 𝗬𝗬𝗕𝗓 the Bull. Let's see how this one's doing. 54,000 holders, $143 million market cap. Okay, remember I told you I don't want to chase price up here. It broke out of this beautiful parallel channel, rising towards the upside, got a massive throwback down into this region over here. I think we have to clean this chart up ever so slightly for 𝗬𝗬𝗕𝗓 the Bull, and then we can just quickly see where we're at in terms of horizontal. So I'm on a low time frame chart here. This is the 4-hour. Now, you don't want to see price break back down into this range. So very important that that white line gets held. 3326 are the last couple of digits. You are finding a little bit of support over there. Following a big move like that, expect that there probably will be some chop in this region. So just keep an eye out for that. Okay, let me quickly look through Giga. One of the top performers that we have. I also have my Giga position locked and loaded over here. I can even bring that in screen. There it is. There's my Giga position sitting at about $10,000 in that position over there, waiting for the big breakout, right? So let's move on to the daily on this one. It's got more price history. And then we'll take some of those requests. So there's Giga. Here we have it coming all the way down, hitting that range low level, bouncing up. We're waiting for the breakout. This one's pretty explosive. As soon as it can get above 18, again, 0.01847, I'll be looking for a bigger move towards the upside. I think this one could go to a couple of billion within the cycle. Okay, let's see. Anything else that I should mention over here in terms of the memes? Okay, Pepe coin, still holding that. This one hasn't yet performed as well, but I think in the future, it should do relatively well. Also, falling wedge coming into major support over there, holding that level. I think these are the types of coins that have the opportunity to survive, right? So rather than buying the pump.fun coins and those ones that have such a low success rate, look towards some of these that have already started to reach that escape velocity, right? We can look at 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗥 because I saw in the comments some of you want to see that. Also, range bound, right? It's still range bound over here, holding down at the white line. That's the levels coming in at 0.0060. And I can even give you, in terms of a market cap, what would be a decent level to gain an entry. Market cap wise, you're looking at about 7 million, right? Anything that comes into that $7 million region is probably not bad, but don't over allocate. Don't over allocate. Even though I'm one of the biggest holders, I definitely don't want you guys to over allocate into that and end up getting wrecked. And then, of course, you have the big coins, right? The ones that are already listed over here on TradingView, on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, etc. We have our big list of memes over here. I think that, you know, if you're picking the right memes, they'll continue to be the best performers. So you can see Peng, one of the coins that are up for the day, but lackluster, right? Hit the range lows, broke through that level. You need to reclaim it. Maybe then there'll be some sign of strength. For now, we'll just keep an eye out on that, okay? Bonk spending time under the up sloping trend line, which is not a good thing. That increases the probability that it's probably going to come down into this zone over here. Maybe one more sweep down, right? So if you get that, percentage-wise, you're looking at, let's quickly grab the ruler. Percentage-wise, you'd be looking at about a 30% move down. I know it sounds like a lot, but remember, 30% down, the next day, the thing jumps 400% up. So this is the nature of the meme coins. Okay, Ponky. Okay, holding up over there, bounce off of this level. Let's see if we can form a high low and then push towards the highs over there. Let's see, quickly have a look at Brett. All right, okay. Brett coming back down, may retest one more time into the range lows over here, 0.078. When the market goes risk on, of course, it's going to run just like the rest. WIF. Okay, I told you, WIF is kind of a sloppy chart. It doesn't look too good. You know, this could be considered a deviation back above 153, but then it needs to hold. If it comes back in here and you start to see buying pressure come in, maybe, just maybe, that's a deviation back in and you can trade it towards the top side, but a little bit of a sloppy chart. Pepe, similar to WIF, right? Just sloppy, bleeding out back into the range. Typically, when you break out of a range, you want to see price hold above that range high, backtest into that, and then springboard off of that zone. All right. What else? Mog. Let's quickly see how Mog's doing. Okay, Mog's not too bad. If you, similar to Casper, I would consider this an opportunity if it gets thrown back down into the bottom of the parallel channel. Remember, Mog probably does well when the elections are on, which is very, very soon. We're approaching elections. Marga, this is hitting the top side of the range. Keep an eye out on this. Look, I don't see much signs of strength over here, but you really want it to bounce off the top side of the range. Based on the recent selling pressure, I have to be honest with you, I'm doubtful that that's actually going to take place. I think more likely is you're going to revisit at least into the mid-range level, which we can mark off over there. There we go, 50%. There we go, coming back down into here. A lot of numbers, but percentage-wise, that would be about, there we go, it's... wait, let's just quickly grab the ruler. That was not a ruler. Percentage-wise, where's the percentage? What is going on over here? Am I blind? Is something wrong with me? What is going on? It's not showing the percentage, right? Let's just quickly do this over here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we got it. About a 27% move towards the downside. 20%, 27% to the downside. Some of the other coins that have potential to do well that are not meme coins, of course, we're still keeping an eye out on Rune. So let's go to Rune over here, Rune USDT. And there we have it. Okay, this is the zone. Looking for support to be found right here in the zone at 320. What else? Let's quickly look at 𝗕𝗓𝗡. How's 𝗕𝗓𝗡 doing? 𝗕𝗓𝗡 considered to be quality, but does the price chart agree? Okay. Also, similar, it looks similar to, right, Pepe, WIF, those types of coins. It's kind of a sloppy chart. Therefore, when something's a sloppy chart, I tend to only get in at the extremities, which means that I need to see one of two things. Either price has to come down, sweep into the lows, reclaim, we long over there, or we need to see signs of strength, break back above, hold this level over here, which is going to be the range high, breakout at 22.55, and then you start to jump into the long trade over there. Let's see, Phantom, how's Phantom doing? Also, honestly, terrible. Look at that. It's losing that level. Flipping prior support into resistance means you're probably coming down. You could come, maybe bounce at mid-range at about 25. Otherwise, there's a chance that you're coming down to 17. Of course, this could easily change, spike back above, but then wait for that. Wait for the big push up. Flip it into support over there on the white line, which is at 36. And then maybe, just maybe, you get a bit of a bid. All right, what other ones do we have? Let's see, anything quickly scanning through, anything else noteworthy to look at? Let's see in the AI sector. Anything in AI? Not really. Let's go to real world assets. Let's see, the top real world asset coin at the moment is definitely going to be Mantra. So keep an eye out on Mantra. You are deviating the range high over here, but you have a very, very strong upsloping trend line. Watch as price comes down into here. That could present a nice opportunity to establish a long. Then you have a macro high low in the making, right? That's going to come in to give you the precise level about 84 cents. If you can pick this up around 84 cents, depending on how it comes into that zone, it's about another 10% down. That's a decent entry that you can look to get over there on Mantra. Okay. We, of course, cover all these requests as well, by the way, guys, in Whale Room. If you ever do want to join into Whale Room, there is a link in the description below just to showcase what you're getting. Of course, there's multiple different traders. You have, of course, myself, which is going to be on the top captain's take. We have 𝗕𝗫𝗕𝗧𝗕𝗓, we have Farouk, we have Josh the Navigator, and of course 𝗕𝗫𝗕𝗧, and then the DJ Dive, which is where we're dropping all of the meme coin alpha. So all of that is in the link in the description below. Soon I'm going to start to cap the amount of people, right? I have warned you once before. I'm letting you know again, soon we're going to cap the amount of people. That is it from me. I'll see you all on the next one. And for the rest of you, jump into Whale School. It's free, guys. I'll see you then. Cheers for now.